Environment Day. And also actually, before I start, I just want to share that I stammer when I talk. So you will kind of like hear blocks here and there. If you don't understand something, just let me know and I can repeat myself. So on Monday, June 5th was World Environment Day. I had gone with some friends to an Adivasi village, and like they began the program by doing what's called Nisarg Puja, or like puja to some saplings or earth. So there's a plant here, and in fact around it is
the barley.
Adivasi Johns, from the Warli tribe, which are actually like native, I believe, to this area, to Mumbai. Yeah. So anyway, I thought for 10 seconds we can just close our eyes, hold your hands, and think of Earth, and think of everything that Earth has given us, and take a few breaths. And recognize that we are Earth.
What climate change will actually entail, were it to get more catastrophic, and were we not to make any changes to the way we live and keep going the way we're going.
And this is not endorsed by Tata Tea, it just happens to be that they made a good video, so we're showing it.
Welcome parents, we are ready to begin. Kindly settle down.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, but all the water had dried up. The world was now much hotter. So Jack and Jill sat on the hill. Their throats were so dry, they couldn't find a drop to drink. And one day, neither will I. मछली जल की थी रानी, जीवन उसका था पानी, पर पानी में प्लास्टिक फेंकते रहे हम, मछली को तरफते हुए बस देखते रहे हम। धीरे धीरे मर गई मछलियाँ सारी, रह गए बस फेंकी हुई चीजें हमारी। Twinkle twinkle little star, how I wondered what you want. Up above the smoggy sky, I have never seen you. I wonder why. The smoke, it makes my chest so tight. For every breath I must fight.
Mummies and daddies, आपके बचपन की फेवरेट पोएम्स बदल जाएंगी, क्योंकि हमारा बचपन क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से बदल रहा है। इससे लड़ने के लिए हम सबको चेंज होना पड़ेगा। जागो, जागो, जागो। क्लाइमेट चेंज से हम कैसे लड़ सकते हैं?
Should I just do it? One second. I'll do it. One
Please
second.
go to the front. Okay. So that's a photo of our atmosphere. It's actually quite thin. What's happening now is we are putting carbon pollution into the atmosphere. And then that climate clock that we had seen before is basically, so in 6 years and a few months, we will have put so much carbon into that atmosphere that we will reach a tipping point. So we'll we reach a tipping point, at which point it will be like irreversible climate change or climate crisis. Yeah. So, but there's hope. We like have solutions right now if we act today. And just like one request if possible to like put your phones on silent and everything. Just for like 15 minutes, because that's how long it'll take. Then it's finished. Yeah. And also like just one fact that's very local to us is that if we hit that tipping point, the prediction shows that by 2050, 80% of South Mumbai will be underwater, including that new coastal road project and everything. So this is pretty serious. If we don't if we don't
Not
act,
just South Bombay, but a lot of the coast areas, even all the way to Vasai and also Thane and all that.
Cool. So let's kind of like discuss what's causing it and solutions, because it's like what's causing it, like it can be the solutions as well. So like we have kind of like broken down those causes and solutions into 5 categories. Pretty straightforward: electricity, food and food waste, transport, industry, materials and consumption, just things, and then banking investments. And we do believe that these solutions are healthier, they are cheaper. If not today, if we keep believing, they will be cheaper, because the cost of not doing it is much more expensive as well. So it's cheaper, it's more equitable for everybody, more just, and it can be more fun, I believe as well. So I think we need to kind of make this exciting as well. Okay. So currently, 95% of the electricity that is that basically powers Mumbai is fossil fuel power, is coal power. And if we had turned off the ACs during this meeting, we would have reduced as much carbon as a large tree absorbs in one whole month. So just to share that, but we still can if you want to open the fans and windows. But anyway.
Go ahead. The cleaning can probably switch off. Do it. Cleaning can switch off. एयर सर्कुलेशन भी होगा, एयर सर्कुलेशन में आवाज आ रहा है because of the sound.
Sound disturbance.
But
Next time we can do don't they just run on because they do AC.
Sure.
I'm okay with it. Put on fan.
नहीं जैसे आवाज आएगा. It's okay. एक बार कर देते.
We drive.
We have to switch off. It's fine.
Okay. Okay.
How many kilos of carbon would be used for 1 hour?
So
Oh, this one.
it's approximately like 1 unit of electricity. So 1 kilowatt hour is equal to about one gigajoule system. Anyway, it's just a mathematical formula. So yeah, it's basically 1 hour basically.
Your energy saving air conditioners,
Huh.
do they help just with electricity bill or do they actually help cut down the carbon?
Yeah. So basically, if you save electricity, you save carbon as well. It's correlated because 95% of our electricity is being generated by burning coal, by burning fossil fuels.
So having efficient systems might be better.
For sure, yeah, for sure. It for sure helps. So, in fact, in Richmond, in our stairwells in 2016 or 17, we changed our light bulbs to a LED bulb. So it's smaller as well, as you can see, and it's on motion sensors. So yeah, it's it's basically it's saving energy. A super simple
Solution.
way to solution. So yeah, that's one example. Just recently we learned that it's possible to switch your electricity from 95% coal fossil fuels to renewables. So just yesterday we actually switched our home electricity, and to 100% renewable, and the plan hopefully is switch our whole building connection.
You mentioned cost as well. The additional.
Yeah, for sure. So it'll be a few hundred rupees more per month right now. So it's not so bad. And hopefully, as renewables become on par with coal and even cheaper, the government will probably like roughly remove that tariff. Yeah. By the way, as well, we like forgot to mention this in the beginning, but at any time, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We can keep this interactive, so it's not just like a speech or lecture.
So what does Richmond have? What is the green power that we have around now?
So currently, our common electricity use has not gone to green yet, because we like just kind of like learned about this, this week actually. But our plan is hopefully to kind of switch our green electricity of the whole building to this as well, if the society agrees. Yeah. And also the Richmond, another cool thing we're doing, and of course I'm like talking about Richmond because I live there, and not being paid by Richmond or anything or whatever. But yeah, we just so last year we started, or I guess finished, a solar power plant on our roof. And yeah, so it's quite big. It's basically, I think, generating close to like 10,000 units per month, around that. And what's amazing about the system is it was completely free for Richmond. Zero cost, they installed it. And the electricity that we are buying from the company who installed it is cheaper than Adani electricity. So free, cheaper electricity than we're getting, and in 10 years, Richmond will now own the system. So then we won't even have to like buy the electricity from them anymore. That will also be free. So it's just a win-win. Yeah. So if you want the company, or you want to come and see the systems right here, so yeah, we can help you do that. Okay, so to recap, what I just talked about. So for electricity, our solutions are basically twofold: reduce energy use, and then generate clean energy. And reduce energy use, become more energy efficient, switch to LEDs, etc. And then become more energy sufficient, which just means that if it's not necessary, turn it off. Sufficiency. And then generate clean energy through opting into green power, and then rooftop solar, etc. Cool. And again, if you have any questions, just ask now or afterwards. It's all good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Solar panels, can we operate the ACs and the day-to-day equipment, whatever is happening in the house?
Yes. So electricity is just electricity. It'll flow everywhere. Currently, our solar panel electricity in Richmond is basically going to our common area meter, like not the individual household, but the common meter. So our lifts, our pumping systems, our lights everywhere, stuff like that.
The way it works is that this electricity that we generate through the solar system goes to the grid. And we use whatever we use. The balance we get paid by the government.
We use as the building use, not
Okay.
person.
Building is common.
Common.
So there is something called net metering. So you have to approach Maharashtra State electricity distribution company, and you get a permission from net metering. So whatever you generate during the day, that goes into the grid, as you mentioned, and then at the same time you continue with your flow from whatever you are getting from Adani or whoever is a service provider. So net metering is whatever you have put in and whatever you have consumed, you will get only billed to the net of that. So that's what the net metering concept is. It's very easy. All these companies who have installed this electricity or the solar panels, they themselves do that. So once he's done and Abdul is done, I'll also share some of our experience, what we have done at our organization.
Yeah, so. And like at a small scale, like if you have a house somewhere else, you can then kind of like put it on your roof too, and then it'll like power your ACs, electricity, and everything. So it depends on the size. Okay.
So now talk about food. I know food is a sensitive topic, but I'm going to try to approach it as non-sensitively as possible. So as you know, or may not know, climate, so food and agriculture has a huge impact on climate change. It is one of the top causes of greenhouse gas emissions. So when we look at the available land that we have, we know that Earth is mostly made up of water, 71% of our Earth is oceans, and only 29% of it is land. Out of this, only 71% is habitable land. And even from that 71%, 46% is going towards agriculture. We would think that our urban infrastructure, other immense effect on our greenhouse gas footprint as individuals.
Nitrous oxide is produced by
From animals, yes. And they burn methane, so all of the animals, especially the cattle, the cows, for milk production and all of that, they continuously work out methane, and through their waste as well, there's a lot of methane production. So that goes into our water bodies, that goes into the air. So now I would like to show you all some staggering figures.
Should I do it?
Yeah. So basically, annually 70 billion animals are being raised. We have enough food to feed 70 billion animals. And how many billion people do we have? Can someone tell us the latest population figure? Exactly. So why isn't there enough food to feed humans? But why is there enough food to feed 70 billion animals? And if you can see the word written there, raised. These animals would not have populated themselves. They would not have come to creation by God's will. We have reproduced, overproduced these animals for our consumption. And they live terrible lives. But I will not touch on some sensitive topics. But I would like to give you all the fact that 82% of the world's starving children come from countries where the food grown in that country is fed to animals, who are then slaughtered and sent to.
Can you give some examples of those countries?
Brazil, Argentina,
A lot of
What meat comes from Brazil in Argentina?
beef.
Beef. If,
And it goes to North America and South.
Europe.
yeah.
Europe and North America.
Beef goes to Europe.
And I think New Zealand is one of the highest producers of milk and dairy products, and they push powdered milk and other products just because they have so many cattle and so much milk now producing, so they don't want to reduce their stock of
Who is this?
New Zealand. So they want to sell more, push more into supply. Unless we change the demand side of the equation, we say we will no longer consume, we will no longer demand. The supply side of the equation will just keep pushing us to have more and over-consume. So, as you can see, it's leading to deforestation, water depletion, greenhouse gas emissions, land degradation, and the most scariest thing for me, antibiotic resistance. So, all of these animals are bred in really tight spaces. Now, if you want to see grass-fed, free roaming, all of that, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the animals that are kept caged, including fish, farm salmon, or whatever you want to call them. All of these animals are fed huge amounts of antibiotics. Most of the pharmaceutical antibiotics go into the animals. And because they live in such close quarters, they are prone to getting diseases. So, because they're prone to getting diseases, they have fed all of these antibiotics. Pharmaceutical companies just push these antibiotics, and the breeders buy them because they know that otherwise they will have an epidemic on their hands. And they don't want that.
Do you know the names of the antibiotics?
No, I wouldn't know, but
I would have tried to find out if I was pursuing something. I've heard oxytocin. I don't know it's in milk or it's in meat.
It's given to hospitals.
yeah, it's given because it's a really good hormone. Yeah. So,
So it'd be good to know a few antibiotics that cattle and dairy use.
sure.
But
So,
any
I
kind of
want to say,
antibiotic would be wrong, would be harmful.
yeah.
In
So what
any
is
dose,
happening?
take the same antibiotics. No antibiotic will be good, even if you know if it's
Just knowing
They're
names
giving
gives you
food
credibility to a debate. You should know the names. If you're a student about it.
sure.
So I want to make a note that this by no means is exhaustive. We are also limited in our knowledge, and please go ahead and educate yourselves, learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I am some sort of representative who knows everything that's out there. We are also learning. We will all learn together. And Dhruv will later touch on that topic as well of how we can all learn together. But as I was saying, antibiotic resistance is basically all of these animals are building resistance to those antibiotics, and those antibiotics then come to our bodies when we eat that. Which means if we get any diseases, the antibiotics that we are getting from that, we can no longer use those antibiotics to cure ourselves because we're resistant to that. And there is only so much. We can see broad spectrum antibiotics, how much ever we want. There are
Yeah, sure. Should we go to the actual website or?
There's another tab called Project Drawdown.
So Project Drawdown is basically the world's leading climate scientists came together and said, let's study the like all the climate solutions that are out there and for impact and cost. So basically, this is like capable solutions. Scenario one. Yeah. Scenario one is for a 2-degree warming world, and scenario 2 is a 1.5-degree warming world. So our climate clock at the beginning of the presentation was counting down to a 1.5-degree warming world because scientists now realize that if we pass 1.5, it's like I was saying before, runaway or irreversible climate tipping point is very, very likely. So let's basically stay with scenario 2 if possible. And yeah, go ahead.
So scenario 2, as I mentioned, is 1.5 degrees. Average increase of temperature from the historic whatever levels they have decided. And as you can see, these are the top solutions that the leading scientists worldwide have come up, which will make the biggest impact, that can help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and which are easy to do now, which we can cheaply do now, which is shift to wind turbines and solar voltaic cells, just change it, which we touched upon the first point, which is electricity, move from dirty electricity to clean electricity. And then the next point is plant-rich diets, because it has a huge impact on how much carbon emissions we can reduce. Followed by reducing food waste, which Drew will shortly touch on.
Can you just go back?
Can you go back to the presentation?
Thanks. So now a lot of people wonder, if I stop eating meat, stop eating dairy, can I be healthy? It's normal. And by the way, I am I don't eat meat or dairy. I believe.
I don't eat the dairy either, and neither do our families.
My mom also, my dad also, my brother also. So just that way. And if you look at my brother, he's pretty strong. Anyway, we can just watch this so we can you hear from some of the world's top athletes.
They ate a lot of meat. They showed us commercials. Steak. That's what a man eats. Selling that idea that real men eat meat. Serious man food. But you got to understand, that's marketing. That's not based on reality.
I've been teaching fighting techniques to government agencies for more than 15 years. Then I got injured. Unable to teach for at least 6 months. I spent more than 1,000 hours studying science on recovery and nutrition. I stumbled across a study about the Roman gladiators.
The gladiators were predominantly vegetarian.
How could the original professional fighters be so powerful, eating only plants?
When I made the switch to a plant-based diet, I qualified for my 3rd Olympic team. I broke 2 American records. I was like, man, I should have done this a long while ago.
When I went plant-based, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive. And I actually became like a machine.
One of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein to perform at a high level. That's just not true.
Sometimes you have to do things that you know your competitors aren't doing.
Today's blood and yesterday's blood. Then
I think this is going to wake a lot of people up. I was recovering better, not getting as sore. This is our best season in the last 15 years, and we had 14 guys on plant-based diets.
you want to feel great, have more energy. Cholesterol was 276. Today, 169.
Whoa, now you're talking. Most guys my age can't keep up with their grandchildren. My grandchildren can't keep up with me.
It's not one set of dietary guidelines for improving your performance as an athlete, another one for reversing heart disease, reversing diabetes. It's the same for all of them.
Someone asked me, how could you get as strong as an ox without eating any meat? And my answer was, have you ever seen an ox eating meat?
Dean Ornish spoke in that video. He's basically a leading US-based nutritional scientist, and he said it's not one set of dietary guidelines for being an athlete and performing well, and a different set of dietary guidelines for reversing heart disease, reversing diabetes. It's the same, which is eating what's like. You can also Google this to learn more. Like we kind of don't have that much time to go super into it, but it's called a whole food plant-based diet, which just means a varied, diversified plant-based diet with whole grains predominantly. Like for example, white rice, brown rice kind of thing. And yeah, so a really great local Indian-based organization. It's called Sharan, Sanctuary for Health and Connection to Animals and Nature. They have cooking classes in Mumbai and also online that you can attend. My mom and I have gone to quite a few, and they basically talk about how to cook this way, eat this way. And they have potlucks. It's a fun community as well to kind of join and just. And also one of my go-to sites for like nutrition facts that are unbiased, that like it's basically a non-profit organization, Nutrition Facts at Work. That's also a great site to kind of just learn more.
Perhaps again, my mother can give some examples of how this has impacted her and giving me your case of just how much change can be made through a change in diet.
Do you want to just talk about it right now? We've already talked about the subject. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, and my background's like might be able to there's something as well if you want to here. Anyway. Cool. What's next? Okay. This slide has a lot of text, so please feel free to like there's 30 seconds. You can just read that, and then I'll begin. So if you've read it, any questions about this? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So just to clarify, eco class and economy class. I call it eco class just to be fun because it's actually more environmental better. So basically, it takes up more space in the plane. This is the carbon pollution per person. So the whole plane, of course, is a lot more, and which is why lots of countries in Europe right now are actually talking about banning private jets. You know, because it's basically one or two people flying that plane is causing a lot of pollution for that one person.
India, the power of money is nuclear.
Sorry?
The private jets can't be banned in India.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't know.
I can digest a lot of other things, but this won't happen.
If you can ban plastic,
This will really increase.
I think a much better government initiative than banning plastic is banning private jets. It affects significantly fewer people, and you have much more impact. And a great website, by the way. Can you just press escape and just make a new tab and just search for Google Flights. So Google Flights is a great thing. Who's heard of Google Flights? Maybe. Okay. Anyway, so Google Flights now has an inbuilt feature that tells you the carbon footprint of your
Some
flight.
organizations like mine about 20 years ago times in India. So if a senior person is entitled to business class, he was given an offer because they also were involved in corporate governance and environment long time before this became fashionable. The incentive to him was if you don't travel business, you travel economy, the balance money that we save, you can gift it to a needy employee down the organization. Once or twice, I also got it because I was deserving. So it was needy and deserving as an incentive. So it that really worked. We used to remember which boss could travel business class, but he didn't travel business class, and he traveled economy, and I got the balance, and my colleague got the balance money in hand. That was a very good practice.
Yeah. Like one of the like companies that I used to work for is basically working with Wipro right now, and basically per business unit, they're kind of setting like the carbon budget for that whole unit. So basically, if like the leaders say business class, they're kind of like using up a lot more carbon budget. It could go to like someone else taking like an economy class. But anyway, so yeah. And also, can you also just Google flights airbrush emissions? Google flights airbrush emissions. So it's actually, Google Flights recently changed their algorithm, and basically the CO2 emissions on Google Flights reduced by half. And yeah, so BBC actually kind of like wrote about this first. And if you scroll all the way down, or just like search for 1.9 in this article, so it's a bit, the science is, just maybe, okay. So basically, because the plane is flying at such a high altitude, when you burn fossil fuels at that altitude, it causes much more warming in the atmosphere. Like a car here is on the ground, it takes time to rise up, but a plane at that altitude, so basically, Google said that research, isn't 100% yet, so we're going to take it out. But most climate scientists agree that research is pretty solid. So what you have to do, even with Google, is multiply it by basically 2, or 1.9, just double the emissions. Just FYI. So anyway, we go back to the presentation. Anyway, so my personal favorite going to Mumbai to Delhi is taking the Rajdhani. I do take second AC because I like the more comfort and the window seat, and I just enjoy the view, enjoy the food, and meet people. So, yeah. Any questions?
Winter weather is okay.
Sorry?
Winter weather is okay for Rajasthan.
Yeah, totally. And in fact, in my next one, Mumbai to Pune, so let's just say 30 seconds to read that slide.
But what if we have that's per car? But
Yes.
Then if you have say 4 or 6 people in a car.
Yeah.
Then
So
the sales benefit.
I said, exactly. It goes down per person.
So traveling in a setup with 4 people is equivalent to like AC with 3.5 liters.
It's almost the same.
So in America you have lanes. If you have less than, if you're just one person, you have to be in a lane that is different, and I think it's taxed for, there's some benefit. And then there is a lane in which you have more number of people, there's some benefit, I remember.
Yes.
Maybe in some cities.
In few cities, area has it.
Maybe you have number of people in a car, you get some benefits. If it's just one person, then it's either.
You get it, you are not going to faster lane, when you have more than one person in the car.
There is some difference.
So my personal favorite again, winter months is just non-AC windows seat, or you can just see it's a beautiful view. So
Have you taken into account the fast trains or the other super fast trains? Somewhere else in the world?
stuff like that?
Somewhere else in the world?
Have I taken?
Have you considered, have you seen what is the consumption and the carbon emission of other modes of, because Rajdhani, from aircraft to Rajdhani, it does take time for people to get used to that. But abroad there are other options, there's train, there's flight, will you further do a comparison sometime? Does it help?
So I think they are currently building a bullet train, or it's like a idea to build a bullet train from Mumbai to Delhi, right? So, which will then just take 5 hours.
They will take a highway also, which will be shorter.
Sure. Yeah. But overall, like, it takes a lot of fuel to get something into the air than just go on the ground.
So that's the basic thing.
Yeah, that's the basic concept. Cool. Okay. Food waste. This is a photo in Richmond. We started composting in 2016 or 17. We started with 2 of these, and now we have 8. And we are, I think, maxed out now at 8. The whole building became full now. Yeah, it's basically, it's like mandatory in our building to compost. And just by the way, in whose building is it, do you guys compost?
Yeah, we started 2018.
Okay.
We have 10 of those.
Oh, okay.
I left the committee because I didn't want to stand by the compost. Did you also leave? So, I actually started out by weighing waste. I used to pick up 10 kg wet waste along with my weight and get on the scale. And then we would get the daily weight of 10 days, then we took the average, then we calculated what is the daily waste of our building. We did mandatory, segregation mandatory. We used to open and tell them, this is what you did wrong, this is what you did right. And once we had an average of 90 kg a day, we bought in agas just like this. We have 10 or maybe more.
Okay.
And every day, the resident supervises the composting. We don't leave it to people.
Okay.
Which is why I'm not on the team now, because I didn't understand that. But they do it. Torino does it really well.
Torino.
Very well. Very dedicated.
Great. Yeah. Why should we compost? When you don't compost and your food waste goes to landfills, that food rots in between plastics and other things.
So I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
In 2016, the government of India made it mandatory all over India that BMC will not pick up your food waste. If your society is 100 houses, around 100 houses. So if you have 20-30 houses, it's not mandatory at that time, when we started in 2018. But since the government made it a rule that they would not pick up wet waste from the buildings like ours, we had no option but to start composting.
Yeah. And I think like same with us.
BMC does
we
not
wanted
pick up.
to also BMC.
We are only 59, so we are not in that many.
We followed Richmond. Somebody came and saw, somebody went here and saw, somebody went here and saw.
So this company, by the way, so the same thing. So this machine is called an aga. It's produced by a company in Bangalore called Daily Dump. It's a great company. Look it up. But yeah, so when food waste is so when food waste is piled with other non-food items, it when it decomposes, it basically emits methane, and methane is a super powerful greenhouse gas.
Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but I think the greenhouse gas potential is around 500 something. So higher than 90%.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically a lot more than carbon. So yeah, so anyway, so very good thing to compost. It'll reduce carbon emissions, and if you're composting, you should also garden. So recently we began to, sorry, the floor was a little bit dirty in our balcony, but recently we just started a home balcony garden. We're growing now pudina, methi, chilies, well, not tomato yet for you. I'm going to plant to grow tomato. Takla, which is like a local Maharashtrian weed, but you can eat it. It's like maybe a balak and balak as well. Yeah. And this is like a fun side of the solution, and healthy food, organic food, local food. Why not do this? If you have the compost, it's like a no-brainer solution. Cool. Oh, sorry.
Now I'm just going to touch upon overusing of things and some things. Now this is individually like what water everywhere. You will not realize just how much plastic you buy until you are carrying. And you don't know, I mean, the plastic, you don't know how it's expired, like a vacuum plastic expires. And the bottles are just there. Or you don't know, like, I mean, the water, you don't need to have it in plastic. Like, your emissions are just increasing, your footprint is just increasing. Why do you want that plastic? You're paying for that plastic and you're not paying for the water in it. So it's just not needed. You save a lot of
People
money.
have switched to steel bottles.
Yeah.
I carry my steel bottle, my child carries a steel bottle.
Yes, but
Even to school, even to market.
so please.
That's really easy.
Yeah, very easy.
Even coffee mug.
So moving on from that, you can carry utensils as well. I know it seems weird, but as she said, coffee mugs is something common abroad. But also you can carry like your fork and spoon. So like people going to college who keep getting the plastic spoons. What if you just had your fork or spoon and you had like your tiffin, empty tiffin that you carry, and you said, okay, make the thing in this. I want to eat kale every day with my college canteen, fine. I eat it in that tiffin and I get my own utensils. I carry my own handkerchief. Or if I want to take away food from some restaurant, or I know that I will go to this restaurant and enjoy this meal, but I know I won't be able to finish, so I want to take away. Instead of getting the new packaging, what if I carry my tiffin with me and the food is back? What if I want a metal straw and carry that everywhere with me? What if I carried a handkerchief? I would have to use so many paper napkins. So it's something we can consciously think of doing and just, it's not difficult to do. So,
Can I share something here? I don't remember what we do in our building is we have a small potluck for women every 3-4 months. And what one of our residents, a friend of ours, started having, what she did is she asked everyone to get their own plates, steel plates and everything, so that one-time use disposables are avoided. And we did that. Most of us actually just carried our own plates and glass and
First we came without anything and then we went home and got up. It's a habit, it had to happen.
yes, but yes, it did take some time to adapt, but we did. It did happen. So it's a very easy switch.
She also 18. She was an 18.
So sorry, just a question. What is that? Like 20,000 actually mean?
So, I believe it means that you have to reuse these items. So suppose if you get from shopping bag, they're giving you a cloth bag instead. If you're just using it once, it again becomes use and throw. Because cotton has a huge water footprint. So what is cutting like trees for paper. So for it to be burned, you have to use it these many times. For it to be, I guess, carbon neutral in the sense that you're made use of what the benefit is giving you has to be recovered using it something.
Yeah. And like one kind of, I guess, analogy is like, you would need, how do I say this? 20, okay, maybe, I'm not sure how to describe it actually. Like, okay, the environmental impact of one organic cotton bag is the same as 20,000 plastic bags.
Because organic cotton also requires a lot of water. Cotton itself has a huge water footprint. So getting into that now is my next topic. So fast fashion and our consumption of clothes. So as you can see, 20,000 liters of fresh water goes into making a pair of jeans. Now, the process of fast fashion is very murky. First of all, slow fashion, buy high quality and not keep buying use and throw low quality stuff that's going to go into landfills. But some simple things like okay. So I think all of us as Indians already have that culture of prepare before replacing. We do tend to mend more as compared to other countries, but with younger generations, perhaps they won't. But we need to get that sewing culture back in. Swap clothes with friends. Okay, I've worn this to a few parties. I don't want to wear this dress anymore. I have a friend who has the same size. Perhaps you could swap some clothes. Donate clothes where possible. Now this is where it gets a bit murky. Buy sustainable materials. I request all of you to do your own research, learn more about materials yourself. There's only so much we cover, and only so much we ourselves know about this. So, as we mentioned earlier, organic cotton has a high footprint. There are materials such as hemp, viscose, I believe it comes from sugarcane bagasse. So that has a lower water footprint. The worst thing is using polyester. So all of our clothing that's made from polyester, some things are avoidable, like unavoidable, such as swimwear or like rainwear or whatever. You need water resistant material for that. So where possible, if we choose not to buy polyester clothing, it means that every single time you're washing, you're no longer releasing microplastics into the water systems. And now microplastics are everywhere. They've been found in the bloodstreams even of newborn babies. And that is just...
Polyester is plastic?
Yes. So the plastic within your clothes is slowly, thread by thread, every wash, going into the water.
Polyester lasts a lot. Cotton and linen, they die very early. They lose their luster very early. Polyester lasts a lot, maybe 3-4 years without complaint. Sometimes if you take care, you see the variability, the fact you don't have to iron cotton and polyester.
Yeah.
You just have to wash and dries faster.
So I do agree with what you're saying, but even if you treat your cotton clothes with more care, they do last a really long time. Like I have clothes that are probably like 7-8 years old, which I still use and they look.
So there is something called material beyond. Beyond is not a synthetic, but it's a version of cotton, but less cotton thread is used in that, and it
It's
lasts
so
for long.
comfortable.
Yeah, it lasts for long.
Why do you rayon is benefits?
Yeah.
So again, do your research. But the thing is, there's a lot of greenwashing that's happening, especially H&M and like some of those big labels. There is a lot of greenwashing, even if they have a little bit of recycled percentage in that they go with recycled. And we as consumers don't really know, so we tend to fall for these gimmicks. But some of the things that you can do is if you have polyester clothing, jeans for example, you can avoid washing it. So apparently you can go forever without washing your jeans as long as they don't smell and are dirty. So if you don't dirty your jeans, you don't have to wash them.
Jeans 2 weeks you can wear every day. Jeans have to be only washed and air dried and not ironed.
So buy second-hand clothes where possible.
Also, you can like it's very easy to just check the label on the like the article you're purchasing. Suppose a t-shirt, just on the inside there's a label that talks about all the materials that are used, and it's quite surprising because sometimes you might think something is cotton, but it's actually made out of plastic. So don't let your eyes fool you. Actually, read the labels.
So second-hand, of course, there's a lot of stigma around buying second-hand. But something interesting that we just recently learned is that because first-hand leather obviously has all of the impacts of like killing the animal and the tanning and all of that. But leather is actually, the quality of it is really high. If you treat it well, it can last forever. So if you buy second-hand leather, you're not creating as much of an impact, and that can be something you could consider doing. Buy less with high quality, of course. So if we treat our clothing as assets, we treat them as precious things that we want to last decades, which I believe all of your ladies know with your sarees and all of the things that you're told here, you have so many memories attached to them. If we continue to treat all of our clothing that way, it will make a huge difference. And air dry where possible, not in the rainy season. I know some people like short rest here, we can dry our clothes on the rack instead of putting it in the dryer that leaves a lot of emissions from it. And such a minimalistic lifestyle. So I'll leave you all with a thought of do you really need more stuff? So keep that in mind whenever you make a purchase. Do I really need this? How much value will it add to me?
Thank you.
Right.
So we're
So
not done yet.
yeah, so our last of the 5 is basically banking and investments, right? So we have electricity, food, transport, materials, industry, consumerism, and then now banking and investments. So a lot of exchange in the US. It's like the well, the S&P 500. Have you heard of that? Okay. So basically, like a lot of people nowadays are just putting their money into these large funds, and these funds have, like, for example, fossil fuel companies as part of it, like Exxon, like Shell, like
So
BP.
that's big money.
Sorry?
So investing in these is big money.
Yeah. So it's possible to make money from them, right? They are profitable
So
companies.
these are ETFs, you can put in money investment.
Yeah, so this tool, fossilfreefunds.org, will help you find funds you can invest in that are that are free of fossil fuel companies, like for free of Shell, Exxon, BP, etc. Yeah.
So are you recommending that investing money in these fossil fuel dependent companies is not going to help the environment?
For sure.
That's the message.
Yeah, exactly. So let's basically divest from fossil fuels and invest in, non-fossil fuels, or even better, clean energy. Exactly. Well, actually, clean energy are the same.
Solar panels, we should invest, and probably they will make money for us.
Yeah, and if you think about it, like these oil, so it's possible that the fossil fuel companies might still keep making a lot of money, but the more money they make, the more we are killing ourselves. Yeah. So anyway, it's why not use your money for good and invest with a climate filter as well. Why not do that?
Just to add to that, there are two approaches to going the investment route. Now you can't, as an individual, it's very difficult to do this. But if mutual fund houses and other like asset managers do this for you, it makes a big difference. So there's negative screening and there's also positive screening. When you look at investing through a positive screening, you're not saying, okay, we will exclude oil companies completely, or we will exclude the certain chemical companies or these industrial companies. Instead, we look at it as investing in the ones in that industry that have the best sustainability practices, that are doing, like edge technology, they're innovating, they're making things better, reducing their process emissions, and doing the best that they can, and leading the way for the future generations. So instead of removing money, instead you put money, if you do it through green bonds or specifically sustainable linked bonds or things like that, you're saying, okay, we will fund only sustainable projects, which you will use to innovate and help reduce your carbon footprint. So that's another way of going about doing things. But of course, it's just about implement at an individual level, but something to think about.
So it's a great presentation. I have a question. You guys are doing a lot of good work. What should we be doing to start with in Powai in terms of what projects we should take up, activities we should do? Because we have a lot of kids over here and outside, so we can actually try and do something.
Yeah. So our last slide is about that. You'll see. It's just coming. Okay. Your money sitting in your bank account, not invested in fixed deposits, could still be causing climate change, climate crisis.
Yeah, I believe so.
How? Sorry?
We should spend the money.
Spend the money and buy solar, right? No money in your bank account. So, what percentage of money does your bank need to keep in the bank and not loan out? Does anybody know? So, for example, when you log into net banking and you see your, let's say, 10 lakhs, how much money does the bank actually have? Does the bank actually have 10 lakhs of yours, or have they loaned it out?
So basically, they have to mandatorily have the CRR and SLR, cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratio. So once that is invested in the treasury, everything else can be loaned.
So what is the government of India's percentage?
I don't know. What is the CRR, SLR? I think it's about 40, 50.
It won't be a lot.
Okay, yeah. So from what I understand, it's 10%. So that 10 lakhs, in fact, is actually the bank. In the US, you know what the number is? 0%. They can loan the entire 10 lakhs out of your account to someone else. And a lot of these big banks, in the US it's like Citibank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, over here actually it's HDFC and other big banks. They give loans to fossil fuel companies a lot. So anyway, this website banktrack.org can help you search your bank. Just type in your bank here. It's also Indian banks, and you can see if your bank is funding climate change. Sorry.
Our bank
If my bank is funding for it.
Yeah.
So what happens?
So for example, last year at least in the US, I switched from Wells Fargo to a bank called Clean Energy Credit Union. It's also a government insured bank, so my money is safe. But I know now that I'm not.
Which one is it? This
like,
one?
yeah, that's it. Yeah. So my money is not basically being invested in fossil fuel projects.
So some financial organizations are taking decision not to fund, not to be associated
Yes.
with those.
Yes.
So we can
So-
search for those companies.
Yeah. You're gonna have to kind of like dig into it more. Click on news, or you dodge deals video.
Dodgy deals.
All it is 0.
And you can like look at this report basically and learn more about what they're doing. And so by the way, the simplest way to kind of see what HDFC Bank is doing actually, just Google HDFC Bank fossil fuels. And you will see a lot of news articles. You can search for it if you want, and then click on news if you want, and then you will kind of see like reports of, okay, we're funding this new coal power plant, we are whatever. And of course, there is of course like greenwashing that happens too. But anyway, you can look into it and do your research. Yeah. And what was also cool, when I switched from Wells Fargo, was giving me 0.0% in my checking account. Clean Energy Credit Union is giving me 3.5%. So you actually, so sometimes, it is cheaper. You're saving money and you're funding good initiatives. Cool. RBI recently released a framework for green deposits. So certain banks now, actually HDFC, has this a pathway to invest in green deposits, which basically, I think they have a negative screen, from what I understand. So they have a negative screen saying we are not going to fund fossil fuel projects. It's like a fixed deposit, but it's like a green fixed deposit.
I didn't understand really. So basically, suppose you want to put in money in their HDFC, then I don't want to put it in companies which are green. We want to put it in companies which are green.
Yes.
So they give you additional percentage, is it?
No. So the percentage, I'm not sure. Like maybe it'll be like the same fixed deposit or around that. But yeah, so basically it's. I mean, have you like heard of like fixed deposits? Like fixed deposits?
Yeah, you see, you give you 3.5% additional.
So we're not clear about the rates, but they probably will be comparable to the normal rates of fixed deposits. They have to be competitive for people to invest in the green fixed deposits. But if you invest in the green fixed deposits, you know that you're not going to further put that money into fossil fuel companies or into projects that will generate a lot of greenhouse gas emissions. So that's the idea. So most likely nothing will change for you on your end. Perhaps just the classification of your fixed deposit will change. Nothing will otherwise impact you. But the money that you put out there will be doing better work.
That's so nice.
So
Going
just,
back to mother.
yeah, you can check with your bank about that. Okay, so like you were, sorry, can you just go back one slide? Okay, you you were saying, so what can we do? And you might have come in a bit late. Like what we kind of showed in the beginning was like what we've done personally at Richmond on electricity and food waste, energy efficiency, and also energy generation through solar. But yeah, this is like a summary. So again, electricity we can reduce, energy use and generate clean. In food, we can eat healthy. Flying, first try Zoom, then try train, then try economy class, and then also look on Google Flights for like a low emission flight. Car, train, go carpooling, go shared, EV, anyway. So composting, gardening, etc., and divesting and investing. So divest from fossil fuels, invest in clean energy. Cool. I'm going fast because I know it's late and everyone's getting restless. I'm not going to play this video, but they're talking about the time value of carbon. Or maybe we just play it quickly. It's pretty short.
Time. I want to tell you about this concept called the time value of carbon. It's a little bit like the time value of money you might have heard about. For example, if you want to retire when you're older, everybody tells you you should start saving early, maybe in your 20s and 30s, and do a little bit over time because it will accumulate. That's because saving money is the area under the curve. It's the total amount of stuff that you do that matters, not just how much you save every month, but the total number of months you do it. Well, the same thing's true with climate change. It turns out actions we take now, accumulating over time, can have the biggest impact. So when we talk about cutting emissions in the 2020s, we can remove this much carbon from being in the atmosphere. That whole blue area is the carbon prevented from going in the atmosphere. But the things we do in the 2020s keep on accumulating in the 2030s, like this, and the 2040s, like that. So what's kind of amazing here is the actions we take early in the 2020s pay off the most handsomely because they have so long to accumulate between now and the 2050s. Amazingly, about 3/4 of what we need to do to stop climate change are emissions cuts just in the 2020s and early 2030s. So early action pays off and keeps on paying in the future. But of course, we'll keep cutting emissions in the 2030s, and that's what this can prevent from going in the atmosphere. But by the 2040s, while new technologies and new ways of cutting emissions will be very welcome and needed, there's just less time for them to work. So it's a mathematical kind of constraint on the kinds of solutions we can use. Early solutions that are here now with existing technology are automatically way more powerful than solutions deployed later with new technologies. So it's, it's very tempting. It kind of...
Did that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
Okay. Yeah. So
every bit counts, even if you think it's not effective, any changes that you make.
Cooking gas has no effect on the emissions. Cooking gas has a pipe gas that we get at home. Would we save anything by cooking less? Or cooking all the meals at one go?
Sorry, Ted, can you press escape and go back to that table? So really, sorry.
Just fossil fuel emissions.
Well, the
pipe gas is a waste of time.
Sorry, can you just make it bigger, or actually here? Yeah, like
Presentation.
Solutions in summary slide. So the previous slide. Most of your emissions are going to be right here. Cooking, he has a little bit of, yeah, it's not a big deal. Like 25, well, so honestly, it depends on the individual. If I fly every single day to New York and back, and I'm fine, I'm vegan, I take a train.
Electricity means if, rather than cooking in an oven, if you heat it on the stove top, it's all right, it's better.
So,
because you're not using electricity.
The cost benefits are essentially what he's saying is that doing certain things has a bigger impact as opposed to doing something like that, like what you're saying. So
where electricity is involved is the negative thing. Where we don't use electricity but use any other option, we're better.
But imagine at a bigger scale, instead of imagining at smaller things. So if suppose your microwave is always plugged in, you don't switch it off. That's something that's just
largest areas, and by far the larger area is electricity. And one very easy way you can do right now is opt in to green energy. It's super simple, like I showed you before, right? Just like search for Adani Power, green, opt in, or Tata Power, or whatever. You can opt in a second. That's the simplest way to have 100% renewable energy to your home. And then, of course, it's better as well if you can, you know, convince your society to have maybe solar. Again, it's free, cheap, etc., etc. So, can you press next? Because I'm going to flip the video. Okay, press next. For Rotary, I thought maybe you can have a campaign if you want. So maybe you can have a.
Already have LED. We have
Okay,
LED
well,
houses.
But maybe in your building, not all our building. Like our building does not have any LED. Surprisingly, this is does not. Yeah, you told me 2016
So, like you were saying in Powai, right? So maybe Rotary could do a campaign. 100% clean energy Powai.
The second also, we're from the generation when we go out of the room, we just switch off everything.
Yeah.
The second is taken for granted.
Lots of people go into with the AC on as soon as they get there.
We can teach them to our kids because they are wasting it. But
Yeah. So anyway, super
the
simple.
third and fourth is good.
It's just 4 steps, really, right? It's literally just 4 steps that you can do. And if you want these slides, we can send it to you. Don't worry, we're available. And again, maybe Rotary can do a campaign. Of course, this is something I'd love to see, but basically a Powai community garden. If we have so much compost, what are we going to do with it? Let's grow.
We used to ask, you want.
Yeah, so maybe like a building specific garden, like we're like, we think about having a garden in Richmond, but maybe even we can do a Powai garden if we want. Cool. If you want to stay in touch, you can join a WhatsApp group where, I don't know if we'll be there, I'll be there, and then if you want, you can go too. I just made it like an hour ago. I thought we could basically do very practical changes, like if you're interested in solar, we can share information about how we did in Richmond. If you're interested in composting, share information, etc., etc. If you're interested in, healthy eating, whole food, plant-based, tips about other things.
There's a company who does solar panels. If they have an investment option, then you can share that.
Yeah.
If the solar companies form, then we can tell people outside of Bombay also. Because Bombay doesn't have an energy shortage. But up north is a major energy shortage. Maybe that company will mention.
Absolutely. So at the Adivasi village, on Monday when I was there, they are very aware that it is people living in cities and people who are rich who are basically causing most of the climate crisis. So we, the privileged ones, have the power to actually stop this. Because we are influenced, we can first change ourselves, and we can kind of like change our circle. And you were saying new money, I know it's exciting, okay, I have money now. But it is really possible, I think, to have a good time, have fun in a low carbon way, through these simple steps. And yeah, I think if not for our own children, I mean, of course we should do it for our own children first, but there's so many communities that you've probably seen in villages that are basically counting on us. And if we don't do it, then no one's going to do it. Like, if people in Powai, I think, a really rich township in Mumbai, if we don't do it, who's going to do it, right? So.
So how do we take this? Do we take a photo right now?
If you have a camera, okay.
Do you want to share the presentation?
Share the presentation? If you have a camera, you can scan this as a QR code.